Hey everybody, so I have 5 questions. Josh doesn't know what questions they are. He just knows the topic of the question. And as you can tell by his face, he's not excited about doing this video. The ugliest smile I've ever seen in my life. So, you know what this video is about.
Actually, I have no idea.
I told you we're going to talk. Actually, I told you we were going to go live.
You've told me a lot of things, so.
Okay, well, this video is about our fertility journey.
Oh, okay.
And there are some people who kind of want to ask you some questions about your perspective. Okay?
Okay.
And Josh is very honest. If you guys have a question that you want to ask Josh, you can drop it in the live section below as well. So the first question is, how often do you think about the infertility? Is it always on your mind like it is with me?
Maybe not as often and as always as you, because you wanted to have a kid since you were a kid. So I have to keep looking back because I'm also pet sitting. It's often. I think it's more when baby stuff comes up either between friends and family or on Facebook or social media. Or, you know, we
there's
talk
like triggers.
about it. Yeah, there's triggers. So, I'd say I constantly think about it, but not 24/7 like you.
I didn't know you constantly. You feel like you constantly think about it?
Now I do, because it's more something we've been working on and trying to make happen.
I'm learning new things in this video. Okay, number 2. Don't cheat. Number 2. How do you feel knowing that it's not your fault? You're not the one causing the infertility.
I'd rather be me.
Why?
Because I'm a simple fix. Usually, I would think.
Us women are complicated.
Yeah, plus, because, like, if I were to find out it was because of me, I wouldn't like it, but I know a lot of men, they'd feel, like, less manly, and I don't care about that.
Yeah, your fertility does not dictate how much of a woman you are or how much of a man you are.
Yeah, and I know this is, like, I know a lot of people want to have kids, but, like, this is, like, your dream, and it was kind of crushing to find out that you couldn't, and it was basically because of you.
We do laugh about it, you guys.
Yeah, we do make jokes at times.
Because if you take it super seriously, like too seriously, it will just destroy you. And there were times when I did feel like that was going to happen. Do you remember when...
But there are times that we joke about it, and there are times that we don't joke about it.
Yeah.
It kind of depends.
I remember... Do you remember when we were at Grandma... Can you go out there and check?
Yeah, can I go check?
Go ahead. I'll tell them a story while you're doing that.
Okay.
So there was a time when we were at Josh's grandma and grandpa's house, and my nieces were opening up their Christmas presents. And as I was sitting there watching them like go through, like opening up their Christmas presents and looking at all the stuff that they got, I felt this overwhelming sad feeling. And do you remember that, sweetie? I kind of like broke down. I went outside, and I just cried outside on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So that happens too, and
this is about me.
yeah, stay there. It's hard sometimes, and there's certain triggers for me that definitely bring up memories or thoughts or issues or sadness. But this video is not about me. So number 3, do you also get upset when you see other dads with their kids?
No, I wouldn't say upset. I would be like, I just can't wait for that moment with me and my child. Mm-hmm. The only time I really get upset is just knowing that, you know, you can't have your dream yet, which is to have a child. That's what's upsetting. And then, I won't go into names, but then there's people that, yeah.
Without going into names, tell people what you're thinking, but don't say any names.
People that have or getting pregnant that just shouldn't be.
It's hard when, you know, I was watching a documentary recently. I don't even know if I told you about this, but it was my 600-pound life.
Yeah.
And one of the women, did I tell you about that?
Yeah, we watched it together.
But is it the episode where she got pregnant?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How do you feel when you see that? When you see that this woman who is 600 pounds
Well, it's like a lot of things. You see women that are overweight, people that are in really bad situations, whether it's financially or relationships or a lot of things, and they're getting pregnant just by looking at each other. And we're like, financially, we're all pretty good. Relationship, it's better. No, it's never been better. Like we've got everything kind of set, and then here we are. Like, to me, it comes down to just sometimes life sucks,
and it's unfair.
But it is what it is.
What would you say?
But I also think that we're more capable of being able to handle these type of situations that we're put in. Everything happens for a reason, and I'm not trying to brag or say we're better, but I think a lot of couples, if they were to go through what we're going through, they would not handle it very well. They'd possibly break up or not be able to get through it.
That's actually one of my questions that I wanted to add, is with regards to the stress that infertility puts on a relationship. Have you ever felt pressured about the infertility issues?
No.
Why do you think? Yeah, that's the truth. The truth is, yes, there were times when we felt pressure,
but not an alarm clock going in.
Yeah, you have times, and women who are trying to conceive know that we have ovulation cycles, and we have windows where we're like fertile.
Like, she has to get to work, and the alarm's going, ang, ang, ang. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Paul, I would love to hear your thoughts. So you felt like there was a lot of pressure, Paul? I'm guessing that's what you're saying. Yes, a lot too. So why do you think that a lot of couples do have like issues with each other when there's infertility? What do you think?
Well, I was actually talking to a couple of clients today about this, and one of the issues that he knows a couple that had was because the wife was having the problem getting pregnant, and the man wanted his own flesh and blood, and they ended up breaking up because of it, because she couldn't get pregnant. And so he wanted to be with someone that could give him his own baby, his flesh and blood, which I kind of understand and get. To some people, that's really important. So I think for some people, it sucks, because it kind of, like, for you, I'm sure at times you feel like you're no good, like you're broken down, or, you know, and for men also, if it's their situation. So I think some people, it hits them pretty hard, and I don't know, it's stressful.
There's financial stressors that can play a role. Why do you think why do you think our relationship is better than ever when it's actually when we've been through the most challenges than before? Why are we
because like any time when, usually luckily it's not usually both of us having to go through something. It's kind of one or another. Obviously with this pregnancy, it's kind of both of us, but more you, it's harder because you're having the issues, but I think because we're so supportive of each other.
Okay. So the next question.
And I don't give up.
You don't give up. That's true. Josh does not give up. So the next question is, how did you feel when I was diagnosed initially? Just talk about the initial, tell everybody how we found out, the problem, actually.
So basically, you went in to have a procedure, and we were thinking we were going to basically have your tubes unclogged, right?
Yeah, I was under the impression that I had blocked tubes at this point. So then I had a laparoscopy.
And you were going to go in for surgery, and we're basically going to get pretty good news. And we were expecting A, B, and C, and we got Z. I actually walked into the, hospital you'd call it?
Surgical
center. And the doctor pulled me aside and said that he made a mistake, and he realized there's nothing he can do. And that Michelle...
He made a mistake in his diagnosis.
Yeah, in his diagnosis. And so he said basically Michelle can't have kids naturally. And I was going to have to be the one to basically tell her that. That was the hardest.
That's probably one of the hardest things you've ever had to do, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because when I came out of the anesthesia, you skipped one part. When I was in the middle of surgery was when the doctor came out and told Josh that. He walked out. I'm still on the table inside. He came out and he told Josh, I didn't realize that it was as severe as it is. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do here, even though we thought he was going to be able to fix everything's going to be great. He basically told you that there's not going to be anything he can do, and then we'll never have kids naturally. And then he asked you, did he ask you if he should remove my tubes? Or
no, he said the only way you could get pregnant is if you maybe he did ask to remove your tubes, but obviously I knew that was out of the question. And he knew it too, but he was kind of just bringing it up. And he technically couldn't do it anyways because he would have to ask you, and since you were out, so.
And so then after Josh said no, leave her tubes alone, which, like you said, he had to leave my tubes alone anyways. Yeah. But then he brings me, the nurses bring me back out just to the recovery room. Mm-hmm. And I'm still heavily sedated, right? Like, I'm under all these drugs at that point. And then tell everybody, like, what happened after
then I went back in the room, or waiting room, and then they called and said, Michelle wants to see you, meaning me, because also your grandmother and father were there. So I remember walking through, it was like a maze, and it took forever. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, the one thing I don't want to have to do is tell you what I just found out. And so...
It makes me emotional just thinking about that. That was like probably the hardest part. One of the hardest moments was that.
Yeah.
So I was drugged up, and I don't remember this, but apparently I kept asking over and over again, what did the doctor say?
Which they did say. They said, you're not going to remember much, so you're probably going to repeat yourself. You are, and I'm going to have to repeat myself, so just bear with it.
Yeah, so as I'm coming out of the anesthesia, I asked you, what did they say? What did they say? And I remember you were crying. And you just said it's not good.
Yep.
I think that was like the first thing, unless my memory's wrong. That was like the first thing I remember you saying was just, you just shook your head.
Yeah, I couldn't really say much besides it's not good.
And you hugged me. I remember you put your head up next to my head, and I kind of like half hugged you because I'm laying there like drugged.
You were pretty out of it.
Yeah.
You look like crap.
How are you supposed to look when you come out of anesthesia? Like glamorous?
No, I just,
My hair was all crazy.
I could tell you'd been crying, probably like, where's Josh?
I always cry when I come out of anesthesia, and I always cry for Josh, which is kind of funny. But I love you.
Yeah. Love you too.
And so then he said, through tears, I remember you crying, and you said, sweetie, it's not good. Your tubes are completely blocked. He said you're not going to have kids naturally. Mm-hmm. And I just kept saying, no, be quiet, please. We're doing a video. We're live right now. And I just kept having you repeat yourself. Mm-hmm. So then, anything else you want to add about that part before I ask you the next question?
No, that was just devastating.
So that was initially how you felt. You felt devastated. How do you feel now in this present moment about infertility in our situation?
I mean, overall everything, or like just between you and I right now?
As far as our infertility stands today, how do you feel?
Feel pretty good.
And why? Why
because
do you feel good?
we found we've seen a lot of doctors and professionals about trying to get her pregnant and deal with her issues. Probably, 20 or 30?
Yep.
Easily. A lot of time, a lot of money. But most of those doctors or professionals said either no, probably can't get you pregnant, or maybe we can try, but probably isn't going to work. And we recently met with a doctor, and he was 100% yes. He sees no problem with her getting pregnant. So yeah, that's exciting. So we went to a natural IVF doctor. We went to a seminar, which I was really grateful you were able to be a part of that, to come with me. And yeah, he was very confident in his ability to help us conceive. So when do we plan on starting the natural IVF process? Sometime in 2017.
Yeah.
So next year.
Yeah. Next question is, do you ever just want to give up on this whole fertility thing?
Nope.
You never want to just give up?
Nope. I just want you pregnant. I can keep practicing.
Do you...
No, I mean, it's more, as you know, I don't give up. There's a lot of things I could go over in life that I never gave up on, and, I succeeded. But, no, I wouldn't say give up, because one way or another we're going to have kids. It's just a matter of how, but, it was getting more to the point where, like, all right, you getting pregnant might not work, so we might have to look for another option, which was most likely going to be adoption.
Yes. So that was actually what I was going to say is, do you want to share what your thoughts were about adoption?
Well, I mean, because with your services and profession you do with babies, you know all the pros and cons of different ways of having a baby, between natural IVF, all the other initials that I don't know what they stand for. Adoption, what's it, surrogate?
Surrogacy.
You know all that stuff, so it kind of just came down to that adoption was going to be probably the best way to go, at least for how we feel with things.
Well, it's also, too, like, my husband, for those of you who don't know him, he is the biggest animal advocate that I've ever met in my whole life, and he's a big, huge animal lover. And he is also a big, huge animal rescuer. And I am the same way. I'm definitely someone who likes to rescue in a different way. I like to rescue.
Lisa or Melissa, yeah.
Josh never gives up. Yes, Josh can eat an entire pizza by himself. That's a fun fact right there. Thank you for my hearts, Nikki. You really are my stalker today. This is my 3rd live video that Nikki has joined today, joining from Canada. And so yeah, we knew there were lots of ways to bring a baby into this world. We have a passion for rescuing, and in a way, I think that led to us feeling also passionate about adoption. And it's not to say that adopting is rescuing, but in a way, it's a baby who needs a home. Mm-hmm. And so we just felt passionately about that as well.
And even if you did get pregnant, we've talked about maybe
still adopting. Yeah. So you're excited about doing the natural IVF?
Yep.
What concerns do you have about natural IVF?
If it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's not going to not work.
Yeah. So that's a normal, I think that's a healthy concern is like, what if it doesn't work?
Just because it's been such a roller coaster ride that we're kind of on a high in a sense because the whole thing just...
It's hope.
It's hope, yeah. So it's, it's just hard not to, like you said, get your hopes up too much, but at the same time, we try to live a positive life, so...
It is like an emotional roller coaster, infertility is. Like when your period's a day late, you get excited, and then your period comes and you're like, oh man, I'm not pregnant. Or there's this new magic pill, let's take it, it's going to help. At one point, thank you, Melissa. She wishes us all the best of luck.
Thank you.
At one point, if you guys have any questions for Josh, put them in the comment section, because I only have like 1 or 2 left, and then... Sorry, we just got a phone call coming in. So, where was I going with that?
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking forward to doing natural IVF.
Oh, hopes up, being positive.
But yeah, sometimes it is scary to get your hopes up. It can be fearful. It's almost like you protect yourself. If I don't get too excited, then I won't be too disappointed if it doesn't happen. In the beginning, we actually thought you were one of the problems.
Yep, she blamed it on me.
We did one of these like at-home sperm tests. And
it said I had duds.
It said Josh had duds, so then we bought a second one and it said he had duds. Then he got a professional test done.
And they're like, good to go.
But I have to say that you did take a bunch of like special sperm vitamins. Yeah. So it could be that you had dud sperm, but
I'm not the problem.
Yes, that's right. How many kids do you want in all?
I'd say maybe 2 is a good number, but
I'm good with 2.
Yeah, we don't need no 18 and...
Counting?
No. Mm-hmm.
What advice would you... My last question is, what advice would you give to other couples? These are funny comments that are coming up on the live. That's why Josh is laughing.
It's always my fault.
Yeah. And I agree with 2 kids, by the way. Yeah, and that's my answer too. What advice would you give to couples who are going through infertility? Let's say they just found my video because they just found out like there's a problem. What advice would you give that couple, and then give advice to the men that are going to watch this specifically?
You got to be very supportive of each other. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. I guess also do your homework. Don't just because one person says this, don't just believe it. Because not everyone knows exactly what they're talking about, even though they're supposed to be a professional. And we've heard a lot of...
doctors are not God, and they don't know everything, and they are very quick to tell you that they have these medications and surgeries that will fix it for you, because they do make money off of those medications.
Yes, we prefer 1 boy and 1 girl, but we'll take what we get. Happy and healthy. So that's all I care about.
Yeah, happy and healthy, that's true. To support each other.
Be supportive. And just... I don't know, stay strong. And try to be optimistic that things will work out and just know everything happens for a reason. Well, I guess what's hard, too, is you're going to have that whole thing of, like, it's not fair. Why is it... But social media sucks sometimes. And people too. People don't, they kind of just are like, I don't know. They think it's just get over it.
Hey, Kay. Kay Souter just joined us.
Hello, Kay.
Another question is, have you told our kids that you're planning on replacing them? And Melissa's asking if we're going to replace her kids. Our friends that are live with us right now, Melissa and Andy, have 2 children that look like they could be our kids. They're 2 little blondies. So we always joke around about how they're our kids.
Yeah, no, we haven't told them yet.
So I'm going to try not to get emotional when I say this, but I do want to thank you, sweetie, because I have been such an emotional roller coaster, and I can't say it without crying. Okay. But it's hard.
Stupid onions.
It's really hard, and it's really unfair, and you know, it's Christmas time right now, and everybody's sending us their Christmas pictures, and it's cards. Like their babies and stuff, and we're happy for them, but
yeah, we're not mad at them. But
it is
like,
hard.
Yeah, people are like getting pregnant and pregnancy announcements, and we're very happy for them. Don't get me wrong. It's not like we're mad at them. It's not their fault what we're going through, but it's just a trigger. It's tough.
And you know, for the most part, I didn't even think that you were even like. For the most part, I didn't think that any of it was really bothering you because you handle things so well until Josh was listening to the radio. And one of the radio hosts was announcing that they were having a baby, and they were all excited. And I remember you saying you got teary-eyed in the car, or you got just like emotional thinking about it and feeling it. Yeah. And other than that, I think you really kept it together. Have you ever cried? Do you feel like you've ever like completely just let out and cried about the infertility?
Well, I told you right after the procedure.
Yeah. But I am so grateful to you because you really have been there, and it's not an easy journey to be a part of. It's not easy to be supportive because I truly feel like I am a roller coaster of hormones and emotions. One day I'm happy to joke about it. The next day I want to like hide, and I don't want anybody to mention anything baby related. Yeah. And so you, unfortunately, kind of get drugged through all that. Like some days I'm happy, some days I'm moody, some days I'm sad, and you've been nothing but supportive, and I know I say this to you privately and in person, like I do really appreciate that, and I'm very grateful because I know a lot of women don't have the support of their spouse through this time.
And so, vice versa.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. All of you who wanted to hear a male's perspective, you now have it. Josh doesn't love doing videos. No, so
when she asked, can you do a video? I said, do I have to do it? She goes, it's about you. And I'm like, do I have to be in the video then?
If it was up to Josh, I would hold like a picture of him and like move the mouth. Fertility sucks. Fertility sucks. All right. Any last words before we say goodbye?
No, I'm good.
All right. Stay tuned. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, please be sure that you subscribe so you can follow our journey. We really do hope to start a family in 2017 thanks to natural IVF. And thanks to all of you.
Until then, we'll just practice.
And in the process, in the meantime, also, I want to say thank you to everyone who has been supportive and praying. A lot of people.
Yeah, thank you.
Friends and family, people who are related to us, not related to us, clients. Like, everyone has really reached out to just say that they want this for us, like, almost as badly as we want it as well. So, thank you guys so much for all of your support. And obviously, thank you to my husband for being the most amazing person throughout this process. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Bye.